Engine oil is checked at this dipstick just like your car. The dipstick comes out, preferably when the engine's cold. The oil is read on the dipstick between two index marks. You can see on the dipstick any level between the two marks is good. Put the dipstick back in the hole. It seals with this little rubber boot. Make sure the boot's fully inserted and you're done. Transmission oil is checked way back on the back of the engine. On top of the transmission is a little yellow cap. The cap has a dipstick with two index marks. It is checked by dipping only to the thread level. Don't thread it down, don't screw it down, just dip it and check it. So you can see there's oil on the dipstick. It's good. The dipstick cap is often very tight. It's best removed and reinstalled with a gentle pressure from a crescent wrench. Never remove this cap when the engine's hot. If this oil is hot after running and you open the cap, the oil will bubble right out of the hole. Check the engine oil and the transmission oil at the first part of the day when everything's cold. Then take a quick check for leaks. Any sign of leaks around the oil filter, around the dipstick, around underneath, anywhere there might be oil leaking, check with your hand. Nothing. That's clean. Check the saltwater system. The saltwater comes in the valve on the sail drive. Check that the valve is fully clockwise open all the way to its stop. Squeeze the hose, check the clamps, check the hose all the way up to the saltwater strainer. Check the hoses, give them all a good squeeze and pull. Make sure no clamps are loose, no hoses are loose, no sign of leaks. Open the raw water strainer, remove the basket. Check that it's clean. No clams, no fish, no weeds. All clear. Reinstall hand tight. Don't ever, it's tempting, but don't ever put a wrench on this. You'll crack it every time. Check the coolant level, which is antifreeze and water. Has an overflow bottle just like your car. The bottle's located on the bulkhead here. You can lift it off. You can see that it has a full and low index. Make sure the level is between full and low. It fills here in this cap. Mount it back on the bulkhead in its little holder. It clips down into place. Check all the coolant hoses and clamps for signs of any kind of leaking. This is a pressure cap just like your car. Make sure that it's not leaking, make sure it's on tight. Fuel system. Check all the fuel hoses and clamps at the filter. Check the filter for any signs of leaks. Feel with your hand. Look for any fuel accumulating that might be a sign of a leak. Follow the hoses into the fuel system. Check all these hoses. Check this filter for any sign of leaks. No fuel accumulating underneath it. No sign of leaks. Around the high pressure pump, around the injectors, no leaks. Check the electrical system for any loose cables or connections. Starter motor, grab the wire, Alternator, grab the cable, wiggle it. Check visually for any signs of loose connections. Check the ground way back on the back of the engine. Check the alternator output at this isolator. That's a little loose. See that? We'll tighten that up before we go. Check that. All those connections.